Good afternoon, good morning, depending on where you are on the planet Earth. My name is Kenny Bazwai, and welcome back once again. It was a very, very beautiful show yesterday we did covering the election. Thank you guys for joining us and supporting us. Today is another uh, epic and beautiful day. It's the best day to be alive, in my own opinion. And you are in Kenny Baz World Outreach. Today we're going to be doing two things simultaneously. We're going to be introducing our brand new baby on the station. A girl that just joined us, a host of a show that I don't even want to mention the name, that is debuting very, very soon. And me and her, we're going to be talking about the American election and predicting the results. Before we move forward, let me give a little bit of bio of Omar. Omar was born and raised in Nigeria. She is a superstar, a supermodel. She just currently joined GBKM, and she have a show that is debuting soon. Omar, can you take it from there and introduce yourself to our viewers all over the world?
Hi, good morning or good afternoon, wherever you are. My name is Omar. To my American and Caribbean and African Canadian family, I'm your African Connect. To my Nigerian family and my African family, my name is Omon Dede. Welcome to GBKM, and I'm so happy to be here this morning for so many like you that didn't sleep all night due to the election. Man, it has been a nerve-wracking night. I didn't sleep. I see you. We are all in this together.
So tell us a little bit about yourself as a host, someone that is joining us. Tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we're going to talk a little bit about your upcoming show.
Okay. My background. I grew up. I was born and raised in Africa, Nigeria, and trust me, I've done it all as an entertainer. I've done it all. I tried to sing, I tried to dance, tried everything. But for the love of entertainment has been one thing that can never really go from any human being. And at this moment that we are in, what is the best time to be in entertainment? This is the best time to be in
So tell
entertainment.
us a little
So
bit now about African Connect.
African Connect. African Connect is a portal. It's like a platform that give our young women voices. As a young girl growing up in Africa, I didn't really know that there's something they call advocacy because there was nobody advocating for my right. So having opportunity to go to the United States, that was where I found my love for advocacy, speaking up for things that I know that is wrong. So to have that platform to be able to speak for somebody, I had to build a platform called African Connect so that we can be a voice for the voiceless, which we have been able to do successfully over the years, and we keep still doing. Now that we are in on GBKN FM, it's not going to stop. I think we are just even starting. So because in this environment that we are in, especially what is going on right now in Africa, in any war, they will tell you women and young kids are always the ones left behind to pick up the pieces of whatever is going on. So there are so many women out there now in Africa that are going through a lot, that need somebody on their corner, that need somebody on their side. That is where we come in from, Omon Dede. That is where I come in from, because I'm a huge advocate for women, because I believe that women's right is a human right. So I'm looking forward to exploring more with GBKM FM. I'm looking
Now,
forward
now, now,
to.
talking about exploring more, let me butt in a little bit now. Um, tell us a little bit about the Omar Dede show. This show, I was privy to shoot the commercial. I saw the excitement behind the scene and what you bring it to the front line. I'm excited to bring it out to the public. But since we have you here now, why wait? Tell us a little bit about what is the concept about Omar Dede show. Why do you want to do Omar Dede show?
On Data Show, living in Canada, there is so much. Trust me, when you're living in if you're living in Canada and you live in the African community, there is so much drama that goes behind the scene of the African community. There's too much drama. And people don't really get to see the drama behind the scene of the African community here. The craziness that we bring to the table sometimes, and the sassiness of the women and the strong women behind the African community here in Canada. So who best to talk about what is going on in talking, and I love entertainment. And we decided to bring you more about the African community in Canada here, talk about all my strong, amazing women, and the men too. I'm not going to forget about the men because they are doing so well. People really need to see what we are all about. The African community in Canada here, we are growing, and they're growing vastly strong here in Canada. So I wanted to bring the people of Canada to introduce them to us, so that it can be comfortable. It's a community show. African Connect, Omon Dede show is a community show. So we are family show. We're gonna be family show. There's a
So
lot
we're gonna
in
have like, we're gonna have like, are we gonna be having something like African concept, African, would say gossip, maybe a little bit of news.
You say gossip, you call it gossip. I don't call it gossip. It's not gossip. It's just what should I call it? Because I don't really like to use the word gossip. You call it gossip. I call it information, because people have the right
So
to
it's gonna
know
be like a
what.
hub where people can get accurate information
Yeah,
while at the same time having fun.
yeah, if you want to know what is going on, it's not just in Canada. In I lived in New York for decade, and so I practically, that's my home too, in New York. So there is a vast community of Africans that lives in the United States, New York, New Jersey. So they
We
are
got a
still my. I'm
comment.
bringing them.
We got a comment from Uyi on the app. We're just testing our app, guys. We will be releasing our app to the general public very, very soon. But we have somebody, some of the team that are testing it, just comment and said they can't wait for your show. Me myself, I can't wait. But now,
I love you, Uyi. I can't wait. See, this is why I told you. I told you that it's a family show. So I'm bringing all my. See, Uyi is not my tribe. So Uyi, you are my tribe. So it's a family show. It's where you get to see all African. Good. If you, I'm not saying if you're looking for a husband, you can see it on a Dede show. No, but you're gonna be seeing some good-looking brothers on African on Omon
oh
Dede
my
show.
God. I know you are debuting. When are you debuting?
Oh, we are debuting on Friday, November 6th at 10:30 GBKM. This is the best,
Now,
I
I
can
was
say,
walking
blow my
behind the
trumpet.
scene and I saw some of the stuff people. Am I allowed to tell a little bit?
No, you
Okay,
are not
see,
allowed to give
I'm not allowed
anything
to tell you
away
guys
right
what's
now.
going to happen on that day, but I was privy to so many things that's happening behind the scene on that's going to be debuting on Friday. What time?
10:30 a.m. Don't miss my show. So because I want to connect you to Africa. I'm your
But
connect.
it looks like it's all about glamour. Look at you, girl. It's all about glamour.
See,
Tell us the glamour
trust me.
part of it.
This, I didn't sleep overnight. You see this finger? I beat it off last night because of the US election. So all
Oh,
this was
you
just
just
a,
said U.S. election. Hold it there. We're going to quickly pay some bills. When we
yeah.
come back, we're going to talk about the U.S. election. And I know that you have an interesting opinion about this because we were talking off air and I kind of see what you're saying. But we'll come back. Don't touch that dial. We'll see you on the other side.
Hello, my name is Omon Dede, host of the Omon Dede Show. Debuted in November 6, 2020. We are live on GBKM Network, Toronto, our new home, showcasing our African Canadian multicultural community. Join us at www.gbkm.tv. Don't forget, November 6th, 10:30 a.m. It is a date. The Omon Dede Show. Another mega show you don't want to miss.
Welcome back. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, We are live and direct in GBKM studio, and I have a special guest, an exclusive interview with Omon Dede, the host of Omon Dede show. The ad you just saw there, that's actually the show that is debuting. Oh my God, I can't wait. And you know, I am not allowed to tell you guys what's going to happen on that very day. I wish I am allowed, but I don't want to be fired. However, let me go back to Omar. For those that are just joining us, please reintroduce yourself to our people, because a lot of people may have joined us in part and they are wondering, who am I talking to? Who is Omar Dede?
Omon Dede, I'm a village girl. Trust me. I'm a small town girl. I'm from Edo State, Uromi. I grew up in the village, and I still, I will call myself, like I always tell everybody, I'm a village girl. I have all my traditions still with me, and Omon Dede he's just a small town girl that love to entertain people. And um, the one thing that you would say about me, or is I had my huge love for advocacy. I love, because I grew up in a little town where I get to see my friends, people, young girls that I grew up with, being trafficked out of my village. So that stayed with me. Uh, f- that stayed with me all my life. So for me to be able to have a voice now, and I don't use it to advocate for those that we left behind, is going to be a betrayal for me and the ones that couldn't made it out. So there are so many young girls out there in my little town called Uromi, my beautiful town called Uromi, that still need our voice. So
We have
Omodede is here to
before you
speak for
proceed,
them.
before you proceed, I would like to use the opportunity to give a special shout out to Enoch Ogbe. He or she is saying that she can't wait. We have Esibame Kelly. I love the show already before the show even started. Keep it up, Omo Dede. Beautiful, beautiful. Nice one, Edo's sister. A lot of people are already giving you a big shout out. So let's support Omo. She's debuting on Saturday. Please comment, share, support her. This is how we do it. So before we went on commercial break, Omo, I wanted to talk about the American election, because in your opening statement you did mention about living in America a little bit. As you see behind me just now, you see that you have these two guys head to head. That picture is courtesy BBC News. Shout out to BBC News. This picture behind me is courtesy BBC News. You never can tell. Everybody is useful, so we thought we should give them a little bit of credit on that. But everybody should comment. Let's support her. Tell us a little bit about this election. What is your opinion about this election?
Um, if you know me as a very multi person, I'm very vocal when it comes to politics, because growing up, we didn't really know that as a woman, you can really speak or have an opinion when it comes to politics. I got to America, and that was when the first time when I saw a woman speaking and having a debate on policy. That blew me away. That brought me to the love of politics. So I love politics. So I have been a liberal. I'm a Democrat. I'm a proud Democrat. I will say that. But that doesn't really. If we are, even when you're a Democrat, you have to debate issues. If we are debating
But
issues,
Omar, let me
yeah.
quickly digress a little bit. You did not sleep all night. For those that are watching on Facebook, we are reading your comments. You can also comment on our website. We are live on our website now. You can also do a live comment there, share from our website, www.gbkm.tv, and then you can hit the live TV. You will see everything live there. The experience is as the same as you have on Facebook, and we will be reading it out, of course. Now, Omo, you had fed on your fingernails all night, according to you. How so?
Because it was a nerve wrecking night. Like my nerves are shut right now. I didn't sleep all night
So is it
trying to.
because somebody was leading or somebody wasn't leading or it was too close?
It
Why?
was too close. The fact that the out when the polls, I have never really, I don't know how the polls work, but I believe that people behind the algorithm of polls, they know what they were doing. But the polls, what the polls suggested about the race, about Biden and Donald Trump, is a different case tonight. But I knew it was going to be so close. But for it to be this close, that's what was a little bit, as a black woman and as a
So
minority.
I'm not going to put you on the spot by asking you who you're routing for. I don't think.
Of course, you already know who I'm voting for.
What I
It's all
won't
the way
put
blue,
you,
all the way, honey.
I will.
It's
Who you
blue all
read?
the way.
You're free to say it if you want. I won't put you on
Yeah,
the.
it's blue. All, and that's why I told you it's blue all the way because I
But
would,
why do
I would,
you, Omar, as a celebrity like you, a woman that has a show and that is going to go viral as you debut, as you can already tell from the comment we're having here, why will you throw your support on the blue?
because there are some issues that are very important to me. That is women's rights. There are more than women's right now. Is about the way the guns are going into Africa. I know so many of you. We just watch the news, is what the news tell us. Well, we don't go behind the scene and do our research and see what's going on to our continent. Africa is a continent that when we start doing things, we do excessively. We don't know how. I can't say it's not everybody, but I know we don't have control. We do things, we try, we intend to
You already,
overdo it
before you proceed,
overdo
let me
it
quickly say this. You already have people already founding for you. I have Eno Ogbe saying that your show will scatter head. So I'm not sure, I don't know. You already have it trending. But let's go back to your support now for the color you choose, for a public person like you to now say you take sides. So you were talking about the policy and stuff like that. So you will predict now, who will you predict the winner?
I would say Joe Biden is going to pull it off because right now, Nevada is holding it strong for him, and Michigan is back up, leading in Michigan. Arizona is where I think my surprise really came for Arizona because Arizona has never been blue. Is a red state like everybody know. Well, for Arizona to have a blue wall, that is crazy to me. When the people were talking about Texas going blue, I didn't really believe Texas was ever going to go blue. So I believe he's going to pull it off at the end of the day when all the votes are counted. I think it was to me, I think it was a little bit reckless for the president, like he has always been throughout his presidency, to just come out and just make he has just make some really reckless statements. The world look to America when it comes to from democracy. If
But when
America,
you're using the word that the president, His Excellency Donald J. Trump, used
mhm,
some reckless, um,
yeah, words by
I will
declaring
say that's your opinion. And not only that, that could also, what you call reckless, could also be appealing to his base.
because he's funny. That's the only thing. See, for me, I say I was going to make a point before, as a black woman, as a woman of color, knowing that there are still more people in the United States voting for him. He really tells me, has shown America has always been the hero of their own movie. Americans, listen, whatever, if you are listening from wherever you are in America, listening to us on GBKM FM, you have always been the heroes of your movies. And I hope you rewrite history again today and rewrite your story again and be the heroes again and be the maker of democracy again. America used to send people to other countries to monitor election. And for us to see what is going on in America today, so who is going to monitor the elections now? Because it's a mess what is going on. The media is not showing what is really going on in America. America has become a third world country when
Wait,
people
I'm going to
carry
jump
open
in now,
gun.
but
Seriously.
let me say that's strictly your opinion, not the opinion of the network, and you are entitled to
Yeah,
your opinion.
everybody's in.
But on which standard, how do you measure it and call American a third world country? For example, they have one of the most militarized, the biggest military in the world, most equipped military in the world. They have one of the biggest economy in the world. They are first in many other things in this world. They are first in many, many, many things when it comes to the entire globe. How will you use the word third world country?
When there is election in third world country, you see them closing up shops, barricading things. That never happened in America. I lived in America more than 16 years. I've never seen that happen before. For the first time in ages anybody can remember, Macy's, Saks, the whole more than the Second Avenue was barricaded. That is what happened in the third world country when it comes
Talking
to
about
election.
third world country, we're gonna quickly go and pay some bills. When we come back, I will have our celebrity, a new join of GBKFM that the show is debuting soon. I will have her explain more when it comes to third world country. Do not forget, we have two shows debuting on GBKFM back to back. We have one tomorrow, we have one a day after tomorrow. Once again, don't touch that dial. We'll definitely see you on the other side. There's more to come.
Hello, my name is Miriam Akpata, host of Global News Check. Debuting on Thursday, November 5th at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the award-winning television station in Canada, JBKM. On Global News Check, I'll be bringing you burning issues all over the world as it affects you and I. I'll be asking questions and interviewing key players in the industry. I'll be bringing to the table the truth behind the truth. Don't forget to join me on www.gbkm.tv. Global News Check, where we bring the truth to the front line.
Hello, my name is Omon Dede, host of the Omon Dede Show. Debuted in November 6, 2020. We are live on GBKM Network, Toronto, our new home, showcasing our African Canadian multicultural community. Join us at www.gbkm.tv. Don't forget, November 6th, 10:30 a.m. It is a date. The Omon Dede Show. Another mega show you don't want to miss.
Welcome back, welcome back. As you can tell, we have multiple shows joining us as we expand. First of all, let me say a very big thank you to all our viewers, all our supporters all over the world, all our listeners all over the world. We are going to be releasing our official app where you can watch the TV or listen to the radio on the app. Again, visit our new website. It's epic. It's beautiful. Check us out. It's a place whereby you can also, the same thing, watch or listen to any shows that is on. And then guess what? Even on the website, you don't have to leave. Should you miss any show, all you have to do is go on past shows. All the shows are lined up there. We have worked so hard to bring this to you. So please tell a friend to tell a friend, share, support, and support. Omar, congratulations once again. I know your show is debuting soon, and a lot of people are already excited. They are commenting. I have a comment from Tina Lolo. I am the first person from the UK to come to your show. Oh, somebody's already saying from UK first to come to your show. Beautiful. This is beautiful. We have another comment. She's absolutely right. American has lost its value as it was before. So a lot of people are chiming in. People are waiting. They're all excited. They are waiting to see. We're going to go back to your show that is debuting, but we just want to wrap it up. We're on the topic of you saying that America has depreciated. I will use that word. I would not like to borrow the word from you when you use the word third country, because I don't see the attribute of a third country presently in America, no matter how we agree that the level has depreciated. Again, what you're saying is that strictly your opinion. It's not the opinion of the network, and we are all entitled to our opinion. But do you really believe that it has capsized to the degree whereby it is now identified as a third world country?
Look, the only thing America can really say now that that will make any country to still look at America as a number one is their military power. That's the only thing, because they spend more in the military than healthcare. This Americans spend more in the military than any other any other infrastructure bill, any other thing they do in America. They spend more in the military. That has always made them the superpower of the world. Okay, making this point, I just have to say this for my African community, for my African family to understand why I am against Donald Trump. Africans, we don't
That's
need.
a big word
Yeah,
against. Okay.
I don't support him. I don't support his policies. I don't support anything that he does. If I have a child, I don't want my child to see a grown man acting like a child on TV, cussing out people that he doesn't agree with. I don't want my child to emulate somebody like that. So as a woman, and especially when you have kids, you want them to emulate somebody that reflects your value. He doesn't reflect my value or what I stand for. But what I was making when it comes to the military power, American is selling weapons to Africa right now. Africa is getting weapons. Guess what happened when Africa there is a gun all in all streets in Nigeria? I will use Nigeria as an example because of what just happened in Nigeria, which I'm going to get to talk about on the Omon Dede show, November 6th, 10:30. You do not want to miss it.
I can't wait. I can't wait. I promise.
So the point I want to make is I don't want guns in the street of Nigeria. Just only one tank Nigeria have right now. See what happened in Lekki Tollgate. Imagine Nigeria having two of those. Nigerian can wipe out a whole city with nobody watching. They will never be held accountable. So we do not want anybody selling weapons to the Nigerian army. People might think is a good thing. Trust me, Nigerian army when they're hungry because they are not getting paid well, they start selling those rifles to citizens that want to buy. Do you know who they turn it against? You, your family. We do not want guns in the street of Africa. That is why I don't want this administration in power no more. I don't want guns in the street of Nigeria. I can stress that
But
enough.
how will you tie this American election to Nigeria? How will you say when you say it's the third world country? But I want to say a special thank you to Odion or Odion Aloba. Where you writing from? He wrote a lot of comments here. You getting a lot of thumbs up. I think I should get some credit too because you're getting a lot of credit and I'm not getting anything. I don't. I'm not sure why, but I'm doing my best. You're beating me
Because
to it.
they understand, they know. Una know me say I be village girl. I just they pretend they speak English. So una no worry. I be correct village girl. So you don't even you don't understand. When you see your own, you know your own. That's what is going on. They have seen their own. They know that on my day, I'm that girl.
I'm very excited for you, but let's quickly migrate now because of time. We should be running up soon. The
Yeah.
next show, the next live show is lining up. The chat up show will be here soon. So please, guys, don't go nowhere. As I said, always go on our website, www.gbkm.tv. We have all the live shows there, audio or video. They're all live there. Now, let's round up with your show.
Yeah.
The Omon Dede
Daily
Show.
show. So
Wow, wow, wow. As you saw in the ad, there's a lot of energy, there's a lot of the atmosphere is ripe. Everything seems to be just ready for you. Now tell us, I saw, even though you don't authorize me to tell a little bit of what is happening, the preparation behind the scene, but I saw that you have some wonderful guests that are going to be joining you on that day. I am not going to say their name. I'm not going to say, I don't want to be fired. But what are we expecting on your first show?
um, um as um as somebody that love entertainment, I thought, and there are some people that paved way for me when it comes to entertainment in New York City. And the one person that has always had my back, his name is Duke Concert. You maybe you know him. is behind anything entertainment in New York when it comes to bringing Burna Boy, bringing Kiss Daniel, bringing big names, Davido, any party or any club, any event. They are the one that really put African music in the mainstream of New York. His name is Duke Concert. He's an entrepreneur. He's everything that you want in a brother. And he's going to be joining me as well as my own brother here in Canada, which I don't want to give out yet because like I told you guys before, I'm all about giving back. I'm all about speaking up for human rights. So we're going to be talking about some human right issues. We're going to have to talk about how we can all join our voices to help those who can really stand up for themselves, who cannot really speak up themselves. It's good to give back. So
Now,
it's a community show.
Odion Aloba commented on Facebook, among other comments that he has commented, I live here in Big Apple, and it is baffling how people back home who don't know what goes on here, but bombarded with foolishness. America cannot fool no word no more.
That you see what I'm telling you. I have friends that live in New York. I lived in New York for more than 10 years. More than I live in New Jersey for more than 7 years. So that's my kind of my town. So I know for you to know that if you cannot have a party in New York anymore, there's something wrong.
Now,
They
but
have
Enoch also said, "Thank God for social media for exposing America to
yeah,
the outside world."
they
Will you
can't
agree to
police
this,
American can't police anybody anymore. They can't police anybody
guys? It will
anymore.
be. We're gonna be doing a draw soon. This comment, if you put it on our website and you comment on our website, on our live TV on the website, because you are allowed to make some comments, you will be eligible to go into the draw. Once we release the app, this will ignite and people will start taking stuff home. Guys, thank you very much for all your comments. Before we let you go, I'll let you, for 30 seconds, just 30 seconds, tell us your closing remark in 30 seconds.
Thank you so much for all the love you guys are already showing me. I can see it's going to be a fun ride. Um, Join me on Friday, November 6th at 10:30 on GBKM Network. We Are Family is a community show. If you want your voice to be heard, if you want anything in your community, if you want us to bring a light to anything in your community, reach out to us. Reach out to me at Omon Dede Show. I'm always there to answer you. I will always shine a light on our community. We deserve to be showcased because we are beautiful people. African is a beautiful, beautiful people. We are the richest continent on this planet, and we walk on water. You know what I mean. So my name is Omar Dede. I just wanted to say I'm so excited that I'm able to talk to you guys, and you guys already love me. I can see. So join
I'm
me
very delighted. I'm
Friday.
very delighted. Should they have a question, a contribution to personally share with you, maybe you want to share your official email address. That way, at least people can reach you in advance.
Yeah, if you have any question or you have any concern or you want to reach me in any capacity, you can send me an email on my dayday at gbkm
.fm.
.fm. Yeah, sorry, I'm still getting used to the email. When you have so many emails, you don't know what to give out anymore. So you can always reach me at omadede at gbkm.fm. Don't forget, on November 6th, 10:30 a.m. is a morning show. I'm bringing you the beauty of the African community. I'm your connect to the African world.
Thank you very much. I want to say official thank you to all our listeners, all our viewers all over the world. We can't do this without you. We cannot do this without you. Whoever wins the American election, I want to say on behalf of GBKFM, congratulations. Whoever wins, America continue and we all still exist. Thank you once again for joining. Thank you, Omar, for taking your time for this great exclusive interview. And thank you for you. We are the first to have a sneak peek into a show that is debuting very, very soon. Do not forget, we are live 24 hours on www.gbkm.tv. And also you can catch all our past show there. All you got to do is hit past show. You'll see the lineup of all the shows and you can enjoy it. So it's almost like a personal recording device where if you can make the show is still there on the page and you can always watch it. And we are open to all your opinion, your contribution. You can email us at info@gbkm.fm. Once again, the email address to email your contribution is info@gbkm.fm. Thank you very much and stay safe and see you.
Hello, my name is Omon Dede, host of the Omon Dede Show. Debuted in November 6, 2020. We are live on GBKM Network, Toronto, our new home, showcasing our African Canadian multicultural community. Join us at www.gbkm.tv. Don't forget, November 6th, 10:30 a.m. It is a date. The Omon Dede Show. Another mega show you don't want to miss.
Hello, my name is Miriam Akpata, host of Global News Check. Debuting on Thursday, November 5th at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the award-winning television station in Canada, JBKM. On Global News Check, I'll be bringing you burning issues all over the world as it affects you and I. I'll be asking questions and interviewing key players in the industry. I'll be bringing to the table the truth behind the truth. Don't forget to join me on www.gbkm.tv. Global News Check, where we bring the truth to the front line.
Hello, and good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're listening from in the world. My name is Jacqueline Dixon, and you're tuned in to the Ordinary People Show. Ordinary people can do extraordinary things. And we're broadcasting live from Toronto, Canada, powered by GBKM FM TV. I'm in studio for the first time, ladies and gentlemen, in almost 6 months since I've been away from my beloved Ordinary People Show set and studio and all of my GBKM family. And I just want to say I'm so happy, so thrilled that you've all welcomed me back once again. More importantly, I'm welcoming you back. I'm welcoming you back to the Ordinary People Show, the show that you created, the show that was created for you, by you, and all about you. All about individuals like you and I who are doing all the right things for all the right reasons, because we truly believe that we can touch, inspire, educate, and empower other people's lives by simply telling our story to one person at a time. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to delay today at all, as excited as I am to be here, because today's topic is so powerful and it's so moving and it means so much to so many people. I'm going to endeavor to do my best, my absolute best, to cover all of the issues that pertain to this topic or are connected to it, so that we can ensure that we're going to be bringing some healing to many people out there that are just simply lost right now. And it's my hope that today's show is going to bring some sort of closure or be able to inspire those individuals who've lost their inspiration to get up, to get up once again and fight that good fight. Ladies and gentlemen, today's show, of course, is brought to you by none other than New Era Communications. New Era Communications, a professional training platform for entrepreneurs. New Era also is the producer of the annual MTM, Meet the Motivators Professional Speakers Symposium, which celebrates women in leadership. Today's topic of discussion is called Processing Grief Through This Pandemic. That's a big statement, and it's one that I have yet to see the plethora of online talk shows, radio hosts, even mainstream media have yet to tackle. The fact is that we've been in lockdown in North America since March of 2020. We are now just approaching November of 2020. During this period of time, ladies and gentlemen, get a hold of this. We have, as a global community, infected in excess of 10 million individuals with this disease, this deadly disease called COVID-19. We in North America have lost in excess of 200,000 lives. Canada is just approaching 10,000 lives lost. Each one of those lives is either somebody's child, their mother, their sister, their brother, their father. Each one of those lives has a ripple effect on the individuals that were a part of their community, their family, their home. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to talk about the aftermath of death and how to process it in an unprecedented time, such as COVID-19, otherwise known as the global pandemic. Processing grief through a pandemic is nothing that anybody in this entire world that is currently living has ever experienced. Nobody. Nobody can say that I did that, and here's what I suggest you do when I experienced my grief during my pandemic. Nobody has ever done it because for most individuals, unless you were born prior to 1918 and you're still healthy and living, has ever experienced a pandemic before. Today we're going to be having conversations with individuals that had to directly go through a process in order to deal with the issues surrounding their loss. We have a fantastic lineup of panel guests waiting in the wings to talk to you. I have guests that are also online waiting to share their story with you as well. And we have, of course, our go-to psychologist, Dr. Edna, who's going to be joining us to wrap the show up with us later and provide us with some solutions. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to buckle your belts, your seat belts. I want you to settle in because I'm going to be opening up today about my personal grief and my personal experience and my journey with processing grief through this horrific pandemic. We're going to take our first commercial break and come back with my first interview guest, which is the president and CEO of Lotus Funeral Home and one of our GBKM sponsors, Kamal. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back after the break.
Do you know who you are? What is your name?
Sometimes you wonder why and wonder how. Don't be alone. Just stay calm, cause even if you choose or not to.
My child, recite the words of this ancient mythology. The wisdom I express in this verse, no apology. Memorized to keep you from evil theology. For you, the darker hue, you denied your equality. See, for generations we perpetrated psychology. Divide and conquer each other, really lynch policy. You cannot build each other up, how will you build economy?
Do you know who you are?
Hello and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Ordinary People Show, and I'm your host, Jacqueline Dixon. So excited to be back in studio with you today. Big virtual hugs to all of my listeners, my viewers, local and worldwide. Ladies and gentlemen, on the line with me right now is the president and CEO of Lotus Funeral Home. He goes by the name of Kamal. I consider him not just a great member of the community, but also a friend. He's a friend to GBKM, and he is a previous sponsor of GBKM, and he's here to help us understand the new processes and that are in place when conducting funerals here in North America. Kamal, welcome to the Ordinary People Show. How are you today?
I'm well, thank you. How are you, Jacqueline?
I'm doing well. I'm managing. I'm managing. By the grace of God, I'm here. So, Kamal, we're going to jump right into this because we've got a lot of people that are grieving silently, and some people don't have the encouragement or the will to even discuss these matters of importance. Kamal, on May 31st of this year, I lost the biggest icon in my life. The biggest, most inspirational, most powerful, most influential person in my entire life. And that was my dad. How I lost this gentleman, I could not have thought up or dreamt up that scenario if you had paid me $1 billion. My dad vacations every year. He's did well for himself in his lifetime since coming to Canada in the late 1960s, when him and my mother arrived. My dad has done well, and he vacations every year like a lot of senior citizens. He had a vacation home in another country. He left to go on his annual retreat every year, which he leaves in around November, and then he comes back around April, of course, when the tulips are starting to come up and things are all well. But unfortunately, things didn't play out that way this year because of this pandemic. And when my dad was supposed to arrive back in Canada in April, he wasn't allowed. Because, of course, as you know, we were experiencing a global pandemic, and all borders were shut tight, and Canada was one of them. So unfortunately, this elderly gentleman over the age of 80 was trapped in another country. Although it'd be warm and all the rest, the point of the matter is he was locked out of Canada, and he was locked out of the health facilities that Canada has to offer, and we know what Canada has to offer. During that period of time, he took ill, and although I spoke to him on the phone sometimes 2-3 times a day, he ended up going into hospital. And that was my biggest fear, that he should end up in the hospital. For those of us who don't appreciate our medical system here in Canada, let me tell you something. You thank God for it. You thank God for it. You thank God for the medical professionals that we have, the medical institutions that we have, and how we manage them. Yes, it could always be better, but I can tell you for a fact, it can be a whole lot worse. When my dad entered into hospital in the islands, and the island is Jamaica, because that's where he's from, that's where he's born, he's a proud Jamaican. And he went into hospital and he had to undergo surgery. And of course, that's always your biggest fear, because as a Canadian, you don't want to be trapped in any third world country, regardless if it's your place of birth or not, and have to go through surgery because of your fear of what can or cannot happen on a medical level. And of course, what happened was worst. Although he did make it through surgery, he didn't make it past the 24-hour recovery period following that surgery, and I lost him. losing your parent is something that we should all expect will happen at some point in our life. But losing your parent in this type of a situation where you are powerless does mean can bring a lot of trauma. Funeral services, which had to be held, of course, had to be held a month later because I had to wait until the borders opened up before I could even be with my dad. And having the restrictions that were imposed upon us meant that grieving and honoring him in this funeral procession, which took place in another country, was just out of the norm. So, one of the main reasons why I have you online today is because I'm sure that in North America, although I went through my experience in another country, I want you to speak to what the situation is here on the ground with funerals and the funeral services that are taking place in North America. What type of restrictions are imposed? How are families dealing with this new process of mourning their family members, with way that you're doing things now? I'm totally all ears, and I'm sure our listeners are as well. But even before you do that, maybe you can just tell us a little bit about your business model and your role that you play in the community. Please go ahead.
Okay, Jacqueline, first of all, I want to just express my deepest condolences to the terrible loss in your family, to you and your family. And I know he's an important person in your life, and it's always difficult. And I guess only taking that day by day is the only thing you can do at the moment. But to answer some of the questions that you have, what I've always done is to connect with community. Is I take a very grassroots approach. In other words, I connect with community by, just going out to community to attend services, to attend different events and functions, and be a support in different ways, even like financially supporting people. I guess I've grown the business in a lot of ways is because I've been known for someone who helps families, even if they can't afford it.
Right.
When you get a position in life and you're able to help families, why not? I mean, I do have a social conscience, and that's something that is very important to me because I've always thought that one day, to be in this position, I had that capability that I'll help families who couldn't afford, and that's what I do every year as well. So I get a number of those that come to my different facilities, and we help those families. But growing it is really about just the services we provide and what we do great work in the community. In different ways we support the community, and they support us and give back to us. So I give to them, they give back, and it's just been something that's the way that I've dealt with the business model that I have.
And we want to thank you very much for that, by the way, because many of you might have heard of Lotus Funeral Home, but this is the gentleman that is behind it. And there are so many wonderful stories that you have, in your books. To talk about how you've come to the aid of the community on so many occasions in financial ways, and even there was a very touching story that touched my heart about the fact that you stepped into the grieving process of a family who had lost a young girl through kidnapping. It was a high profile story that was in the newspaper, and you actually stepped in and you conducted the funeral at your own cost because of the issues that family was experiencing financially. And I just want to applaud you for that. I think you're a stand-up gentleman.
Very kind of you to say.
Thank you. Now, listen, talk to us about the current guidelines for funeral services. What are the current guidelines for those that have experienced loss or could potentially experience loss during this pandemic?
We can answer it in different ways. Number one, for funeral-related answers, it really depends on the province you're in. So I'm going to talk about Ontario in particular right now. Right now, you can come to attend funeral services. Right now, it's limited to 30% of your capacity. So that's going to vary from funeral home to funeral home. So, for instance, our example that our facilities they're quite large. Even during normal times, we can accommodate a large group of gatherings. But 30% also considers social distancing. So in other words, you have to have like seating 6 feet apart, 2 meters apart. You have to have hand sanitizers, at all the entrances. And people have to be wearing masks upon entry. If they don't have it, we provide it for them, or the funeral home will have to provide it. When they come in, they have to log their names in for traceability. So they have to enter their name, their contact phone numbers, and so forth. And that's retained in the event that they have to be contacted. But what's interesting now is the borders have opened up for now even people who are out of country to now attend a funeral service, and I guess getting special attendance to bypass these self-isolation requirements now. So we even have currently going on this week, and even some more that just happened today, where there are family members in particular in New York. We've had some from South America and so forth, and the Caribbean as well. And what happens is there's an application you do online to the government. Also supporting documents to be given by the funeral home that has the person who's coming from that country listed in that letter that they're coming for the purpose of attending a funeral for their loved one, and it could be an aunt, uncle, child, or whatever the case may be. And the person should get COVID tested in that country with documentation showing that they are negative. So that is something that's just recently opened up, and that's where people who want to come in from out of country, and there's many cases like that, can now come and get the exemptions, not to isolate. They can come attend it and then leave and go back to their country. So that's something that's different. That's happening right now.
Wow, that's interesting, and that's news certainly I didn't know. But I'll tell you another thing that I didn't know, this 30% capacity. So what you're saying is that even though we're told that there cannot be gatherings in excess of, I believe currently we're right now with 10 people indoors and 25 people outdoors, in the case of funerals, you can actually go up to 30% of the capacity of the actual funeral home. Am I correct?
And that's right, and that's with the 6 feet or 2 meter separation of people. So every funeral home will be different. Some may only have 10 because their facility is too small, and they just, that's all they can deal with, or 50. Some can do 200. So it really depends on your facility itself. So the number will vary depending on the particular policy of that funeral home. So that's for indoor. Now, for outdoor, for cemeteries, to attend a gathering in a cemetery, it's actually restricted, and they just changed it again to 25 people. With the second wave that's come, originally it was 100. Now it's down to 25 people. So that's enforceable for any outdoor event at a cemetery, like a burial, for example.
Wow. So what I can do is, let me ask you. So in your particular case, we're on air. We're on air. So Kamal, in your particular case, the funeral home, your funeral home can hold a few hundred people. Am I correct?
Yeah, just short of that, and that's with social distancing. So you'll have like the main chapel can hold a certain amount, and then there's overflow into the hallways and other areas of the facility. So that's like a total capacity of the building, for example, right? Okay. And that's with 6 feet separation between people. And again, it varies from place to place.
That's good to know that. And let me ask you one last question before we wrap up your segment, Kamal, because I know you're busy. It's Saturday, and I can imagine that you're stressed for time. I'm hoping to bring back another time for an exclusive one-on-one, you and I, because I think that you have so much to share. So there are a lot of different things that are happening now for individuals who can't keep large funerals, or who are maybe they are conducting a funeral in a funeral home that doesn't have the capacity that yours does. And I'm speaking about the article that you wrote. You wrote an article in a newspaper that I thought was just absolutely phenomenal. And maybe you'll just tell us the name of that newspaper. Actually, it's the Wellington Advertiser, and you wrote this on April the 2nd, and it's called Grieving Through Social Distancing. and it talks about the fact that funerals are now being done virtually. Can you explain to us how that works, and if families have been taking advantage of this new procedure? How does that work?
Well, what's interesting now is using technology in the grieving process. Traditionally, people support each other by hugging and being there, present at an event such as a funeral. But through social media, using platforms like Zoom or FaceTime, WhatsApp, video, for example, Skyping, those are ways now people are having virtual funerals. So you may have some family at the funeral home, but those that are all abroad or those who are not comfortable coming to the funeral home because of COVID-19 reasons now can watch it in the comfort of their own home. So it's based on the technology that a funeral home has. For example, at our facility, we use a Zoom platform. It's very interactive. So even people from out of country can even have like a eulogy speech on video, and that's broadcasted through everybody in the chapel, for example. And that's video and sound. So they're watching the funeral take place. It's in real time. It's very interactive. So as people move to a podium or the casket's moved out into our crematorium, because our crematorium is located in the building, the camera will follow you all the way. And so people can watch everything as it happens in real time. So that's what's now become an interesting part of this technology through these Zoom platforms and FaceTimes that people can now share in that process, but not physically being there, but at least able to watch it at their homes.
I think that's wonderful. That's an absolutely outstanding service that you provide. And I was able to watch one of these virtual funerals myself, and I think it does fill that void for so many individuals that cannot attend. Last question before I let you go, Kamal. It's not the kind of topic that you want to have at the dinner table, but it is a dinner table topic. At some point it will be. And the question is, when should a person start thinking or planning for their passing? When is it the right time to start thinking about the services and where it will, how it will be held and those matters?
It's an interesting question because I guess it really depends on your priority in life. And people experience different things. So someone who's actually gone through a funeral of a loved one, they start thinking about themselves. And that can be their motivating reason why they may want to maybe pre-plan, we call it pre-planning, or prepaying one's funeral. If they have aging parents and now they're concerned with their parents, it really depends on your situation of life. Face it, people in their 20s are not really, this is not on their mind right now. But as you age, you get into your elder years, it becomes something you think about because you don't want to really be a burden to your family. A lot of people think like that in different ways because when the time comes, it's such an emotional time where you're making emotional decisions, unfortunately, to plan a funeral. And sometimes that's not a good thing because you may make a decision that impacts you financially that may not have been the right thing because you're making an emotional decision and not having all the facts and making a decision when everything is more calm. Also, the reason why people pre-plan or prepay a funeral is because it locks in today's pricing. So it may motivate you on an economical situation where, for example, I'll give you a perfect example. In 1979, I did a service for somebody who had prearranged their funeral in 1979, and they had prearranged for $1,900 as for a number. They passed away, I think, about last year. If they did the exact thing they wanted, it would have cost them $10,000.
Wow.
To do it at last year's rate. So they prepaid in 1979 at $1,900. So it gives you an idea how much costs go up because, costs of labor, costs of materials, everything goes up over the years, right? So it could be motivated by just locking in today's price. But there's so many different things. Like you just went through this thing with your father. He passed away in Jamaica. Well, a lot of people don't even know that. Let's say you wanted to bring your father back and have the service here because sometimes maybe 100 family members live in one country and they want to bring that one person back here as opposed to everyone, the 100 people flying to that one place where they passed. Well, there's even insurance that as low as $395, it's a one-time fee that it will cover the cost of bringing somebody back. So it's zero cost. It's a one-time fee of $3.95, but if somebody passes away while traveling abroad, to bring that person back doesn't cost anything. It's zero. Where if you want to bring somebody back, it's usually north of $10,000 to bring someone back.
That's
who's traveled
amazing.
abroad.
That's
So
absolutely
it's
amazing.
very expensive to do it that way.
For $395. That
Yeah,
will cover the cost of bringing the. Now, in our case,
it's an insurance. It's an insurance that it's not meant for everybody. But if you travel, let's say you're elderly,
right,
and there's no health questions asked. So even if you're not you're not well, they do not deny you insurance. So you have this coverage automatically. So you're traveling abroad on vacation, you're visiting family, God forbid something happens, then you want to bring you back. It's zero cost to the family because they've already have this insurance. And it's a one-time fee. So it's not every year you pay it. It's a one-time fee for the rest of your life.
Amazing.
So,
absolutely amazing.
So it's an education, really, it really is, because people don't know this, right?
Right.
And we, unfortunately, every month we're bringing people back from different countries because they went abroad. Not so much now because people are not really traveling, but during the regular times, I mean, this is what happens in life, right? And no one knows, only God knows when these things will happen. Right. But it's unfortunate, and it's a major expense to a family. So that's why I'm just giving this bit of education, because it really falls into this planning for the future, right? So it depends on your priority in life, really what you want to do in life. You don't want to be burdened to your family, so you think about these things, right? Or you've experienced a loss, and then you start thinking about yourself and maybe planning for the future too.
Well, you know what, Kamal, this interview can go on forever and a day, and we will schedule another interview, you and I, one-on-one, so we can get more details on these various different solutions and options that you have just shared. But I'm blown away by it right now. The prepaying of a funeral, that's amazing. Only $395 if you were to buy the insurance to bring a body back from anywhere in the world versus paying $10,000. Now, in our particular case, we couldn't have done that because of the COVID issues, but and plus my dad was a very responsible gentleman. He took care of himself on both sides of the country, in both countries. So we had provisions. He had already had provisions there as well. But how many people are like him, right? So anyways, the whole point of the matter is it's been wonderful talking with you, and I thank you so much for taking the time. I hope my viewers and listeners received a lot. The company name is Lotus Funeral and Cremation Center, and they can certainly look it up, and or we can just provide them with a telephone number right now, Kamal, so that they can call and inquire if and when they're ready.
Yes. And if you want the phone number, it's 647-547-8188.
Fantastic. And it's the same number that's on your screen right now, so make a note of it. Give Kamal a call, and he'll be happy to have that discussion with you. Kamal, thank you so much for joining us today on my first show back on the Ordinary People Show, and hopefully you and I will be talking in the near future. Have a wonderful rest of your Saturday.
Thank you, Jacqueline, and the same to you. All the best to you, too.
Thank you so much.
Take care.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me today. My name is Jacqueline Dixon, your host for the Ordinary People Show, and that was our first guest, but we have a lot more in store for you on this first of many shows on my return to the Ordinary People Show. Today's topic, grieving through this pandemic. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and I'm going to introduce to you our panel guests right after this very short break, and we're going to continue this discussion of healing.
What is your name?
Sometimes you wonder why and wonder how. Don't be alone. Just stay calm, cause even if you choose or not to.
My child, recite the words of this ancient mythology. The wisdom I disperse in this verse, no apology. Memorize to keep you from evil theology. For you, the darker hue, you denied your equality. See, for generations we perpetrated psychology. Divide and conquer each other, really lynch policy. We cannot build each other up, how will you build economy?
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, and welcome back. Welcome back to the Ordinary People Show. My name is Jacqueline Dixon, and I'm your host. And we're into the second part of our two-part series. This is one of two parts on grieving, the grieving process, and particularly grieving through this pandemic that we're in right now. And I'm happy to introduce my panel guest. Plus, I have a special visitor today in studio with me. We're social distancing here, and we're going to start with my in-studio guest first. Let me introduce my first in-studio guest, which is none other than for those of you Ordinary People fans who remember back in the day when we started the Ordinary People Show back, I think it was 2017. March of 2017, we launched the Ordinary People Show right here on the GBKM network, and I had a sidekick that day, which was maybe the ladies in the back can mute yourself. Ladies, we're on air. We have my panel guests are excited, and they're talking in the background there. But so my co-host at that time was Janet Lumley, and she's in studio with me today as our in-studio panel guest to share her story and her journey as well. And it's so awesome to have her because she's not only my guest, but she's also a great friend that I have for well over 20 years now. Okay. Yeah, maybe longer. It's been a while. Before the kids. And now you're a grandmother.
Right.
You didn't even have any kids.
Right. So, that's what I'm saying.
And then, okay. All right. So, and now let's introduce our guests that we have in the background because they're chomping at the bits. They're so patient. We have three lovely ladies that I'm going to introduce to you. The first lady I'm going to introduce to you is Ekta. Ekta is in the movie business. She's in the communications field. She's going to tell you a little bit about herself in just a minute. And then we also have Welina, who's a great lady here. She's a business lady. She's an entrepreneur and a great friend of mine. We belong to a sister network called IWB. And then, of course, we have none only than Miss Shift herself. Palmonia Gordon is with us today, and she's an entrepreneur as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, all of my panel members today, including myself, have a common interest and a common goal today. And that is to share our story, our strength, and our hope with you. With hopes that it's going to bring some sort of closure, some sort of inspiration, and of course educate you on what it is like to go through grief due to loss during a pandemic. So I'm going to start with Janet. Of course, Janet, say hello to the listeners and viewers, and maybe you can just tell us very quickly about yourself and the individual that you are here to honor and discuss.
Good afternoon, everyone. Again, I'm Jeanette Lumley. Used to be a part of this family, but I transitioned onto in the same kind of business, doing something else. Media, yes.
Mm-hmm. You've got your own show,
I have
right?
my own show,
yeah.
Which is Revolution on the Move, and I must have to say thank you to Mr. Kenny, who is the CEO of this broadcasting. He has been there with me and been encouraging me, and I took his advice and started my own thing, which I must tell Jackie that she didn't know this, but when she reached out to me this week and asked me to be on this platform, I couldn't turn it down because of the topic today. But today I would have been launching my show for the first time since the pandemic. And I put it over till next week because I had to be here. There are many people since this millennium that passed away in my family. Many. Starting with my grandfather, niece, cousins. It hasn't been easy since this millennium started for 10 years. Surprisingly this morning, when I was preparing to come in here, I seen a post on Facebook about a great friend or a good friend of mine who passed away this morning. And I'm saying to myself, like, what is this? You know, I had to, it's a reason why I have to be here. Now going back a little bit, dealing with something like death, it's not easy.
So Janet, of course, we all know that it's been extremely hard for you because you've had multiple experiences of grief during the pandemic. But let me ask you very quickly, because it's basically the same question I'm going to be asking all the other ladies as well. And Ekta, maybe you can just introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your loved one as before I start asking the questions, because basically we're all going to be answering the same questions. Ekta, please say hello to the Ordinary People listeners and viewers and tell us a little bit about yourself. Ekta, can you hear us? Okay, we're having some audio issues with Ekta. I'm not getting her. So we're gonna move. Ekta, can you hear us now? Willie, can you hear us? Okay, you guys, they're on mute. Okay, you have to take yourself off of mute. Seems like you guys are all on mute.
I thought we did, and it said the host muted us.
Okay, I'm not sure, but Palmonia, while we have you, then let's start with you then, Palmonia. You're an entrepreneur. You're a tough gal. You're a go-getter. You're out there. You're doing the things that we all need to be doing on a day-to-day basis. And you yourself have experienced something like what I've experienced. You've experienced grief just recently. Maybe you can tell us a little about yourself and the individual that you're here to honor today.
To be honest, today is a tough day. Yesterday, rolling into today, I've been up since 5:30. Today is actually the third anniversary that I want to honor the man, Sheldon Allen. He was 24 years old when he passed, actually on the 24th of October. So I know his mom, his family, the community of Malton broke 3 years ago when he passed. And of course, it's also the anniversary of my spiritual mother, Iris Douglas. And today, my sister, and I was thinking this morning, in the past, it's often been in-laws, my brother-in-law, my aunt, not as still close, but still a different impact. So today, my sister, Sonia Francis, she would have been 73 coming up November 2nd. She recently passed, wasn't able to make the funeral. And I think the process in which you're not able to grieve in its entirety has an impact on how we move forward.
Okay.
We weren't able to go to sufficient children and like 5 grandchildren, and we were not able to go and offer them that love and support that we would have in the past. And
Right.
of course,
And sister, this is your sister?
my oldest sister, that's my dad's first child. My dad's 94, still alive. So even that was difficult, watch my dad lay in bed, wiping his eyes because it's his baby, and I think we are, it's just a little bit.
It's overwhelming. It's overwhelming.
Yes.
And we're going to come back to you because I'm going to leave these questions open to the panel, and whoever wants to jump in can jump in. So let's go to Willie now. And Willie, just of course you're here for the same reasons we're all here. Maybe you can just share with us, who, the loved one that you are here to honor today. Tell us a little bit about that person.
Sure. I'm here to honor my little sister, Pat. She was 69, so not so little, but when she was born, I was a little girl, and she was kind of like my baby. In fact, I convinced my parents that they should call her her middle name Jane after Jane Allison, the movie star, because I loved her. Mm-hmm. And just watching her grow up, and she's such a beautiful woman, full of love, full of the greatest twinkle in her eye, always mischievous twinkle in her eye. Lived her life, a very difficult life, actually. She had many health problems. She had many addictions to medically prescribed drugs to help with her pain through her life. She never lost her spirit and she never lost her faith. She was such an amazing woman. And to not be able to be with her, as Palmonia just said, to not be, and you yourself, to be there at the end. We knew the last number of months she was in a nursing home. She was fighting all her illnesses, but sliding, and not to be able to hop in a plane and go see her. And I talked to a nurse one day, and I said, I just want to get on a plane and come. And she said, well, if you did, you couldn't get in because she's isolated. She can't be in there. And even she would get infections, and she was such a loving person to people. She just loved everybody, loved to be around people. And she would be isolated in her room for weeks on end, 14 days at a time, because she kept getting infections that she would not be able to be with the, even go to the dining room, be with the people. So watching that kind of grief and grieving that for her, with her, through it was just very difficult.
That must have been so painful. And not being able to be there with her, going through that is probably the most grueling part of it all. So next we have Ekta. Ekta, thank you so much for being patient with us today. We're all here for the same reason, we know that. And we're going to have that full-throated discussion shortly. But before that starts, Ekta, can you tell us about your loved one that you're here to honor today?
Yeah, thank you, Jacqueline, for giving me this great moment to share my feelings with everybody here. We all are going through so much pain in life at the moment. And because of this COVID, that pain has increased when we can't even go and hug our loved ones. I lost my uncle, the big brother of my mom, just a week ago. And it was such a shock because I had lost my another uncle also a few months back, and I wanted to go back to India, and I was waiting for this COVID to get over, but then it's increasing. And now I lost my another uncle, and it was a big setback for me. I wanted to just go fly over there, hug my loved ones, my cousins there. My uncle, a man with a golden heart and a sunshine smile. I always will miss him throughout. He'll always be in my heart. And I know for all of us, this phase is extremely difficult when we are all maintaining social distancing, living in isolation, away from our loved ones, and we can't even do all those necessary things which we should be doing at this moment. So I just want to give my love, my best wishes to my cousins over there. This is a good platform where I can pay my obituary to them, my obituary to my uncle, and love to my all cousins and my wonderful family back home.
That's so beautiful. Thank you so much, Ekta. Ladies, it seems like we all have one thing particular in common today, other than the fact that we've lost a very important loved one in our lives. And that one thing is that we were unable to be there for them. We were unable to be there with them. And why is that? It's because we are experiencing what we call right now a global pandemic. And if not for this global pandemic, you would have been, I'm sure, on that plane, the first plane to India, Ekta. You would have been at that nursing home, and you would have been holding your sister's hand as she transitioned. You would have jumped on the plane as well, Pamelia, and you would have been there for your big sister, and I would have been at my dad's side until that very moment when he closed his eyes. We weren't able to do that, and that, ladies and gentlemen, it's not a simple thing to digest. It's something that's going to stay with us for the rest of our lives, right? And when you're going through grief, as I have and have you have, grief and mourning can be expressed individually as a family. It can even, it's expressed as a community. And how long somebody grieves is going to vary on that individual and how close that loved one was to you, what type of a connection they had to your life. And as I put in my post, for those of you who follow me on social media, grieving the loss of a loved one, especially through a pandemic, it just opens up a whole roller coaster of emotions that you go through, and you go through them on a daily basis. It's a daily thing. You've got anger. of course, the anger of not being able to be there and not being able to fight the obstacles. And this is what I want to hear from you, the roller coaster of emotions and how you're able to deal with it. And then we're going to take just a quick commercial break because Dr. Edna's on the line with us now, and she's going to be sharing some solutions with us as to how we can deal with it. But for my panel members, so here's my first question. What type of an impact did your individual, your loved one, have on your personal life? And anybody can start first. What's the biggest impact that person had on your life?
Well, back to my little sister, when she was still a teenager, I had become a single mom, and through divorce, not through anything else. And she came and lived with me, and she was a caretaker, helped me with those children for those few years. And she was the fun parent figure, and she was the one that kept the house lively and cheerful, as I was dealing with many things at the time myself. And when I think about her whole life, I just think about this amazing woman that kept showing up when you needed her, and I knew that I could always call.
That's wonderful.
Unconditionally loved you, no matter what. She was there for you, and just an amazing, loving individual that just poured love into my life.
Right. Beautiful. That's beautiful. Anybody want to share about the biggest impact?
For myself, Sonia, my sister, a fighter, just someone who she just fought through everything. We have never, no one in our family ever travels without going to Sonia's house. There were times if I made it to Maryland and I didn't make it, she would call me. I can't believe you come to Maryland, because she was in New Jersey, and you didn't come see me. But she was just a home that you go and you kind of cook and you sat and you ate and just have that sense of community. And the other individual that I'm honoring today is Sadie Alima Edwards, my brother's stepmom. And why she's special is that she passed at 104, but she's been blind for the greater part of 30 years. And I admired her ability. My brother said the only way he got her, she passed in the US. He said the only way he would not have been able to take her is when he got to the border, if she told them he was kidnapping her, because she was just so resilient and resourceful. She lived on her own. She cooked. She did everything. And it just reminded me that it doesn't matter what life has poured, both of my sister and my brother's stepmom, no matter what life pour at us or tossed our way, there's a way to overcome. Do we
Amazing.
take a step back and wait and see and says, okay, which way do I go? And I think that's what both of these individuals have taught me throughout life, to if you take a moment and you pause, then you find a route that works and works well.
Wonderful. Anybody else?
Yeah, I just want to say, so my experience with many family members, as I said earlier, since the pandemic started, I lost a very good friend of mine. And it impacted me so much because he was my daughter's godfather. And when his daughter reached out to me and said that he passed, I said, what happened? Apparently, they brought him to the hospital, and because of COVID, he went on his own there, and the same day, they called and said he passed. So no one was there with him when he passed. He passed away on his own, and even for the funeral. No, I had to sit into a room watching this on a Zoom. Yeah, nobody could go there, just 10 people, including the funeral people and family. That's so emotional, I mean, till this day. So it's not that easy dealing with this loss.
No.
during before the pandemic and now.
Yeah,
You know, even
definitely.
although, you know, it's difficult, it's better to be there, you know, as part of it to see them go. But during this pandemic, it's not easy because I've experienced it.
Wow, wow. I'll just share, quickly, like the biggest, my dad has impacted my life in so many different ways, but the biggest impact for me, where my dad is concerned, is probably two areas, but one is a little bit more poignant than the other one, and it's character. And my dad was a man of character, and he believed that your character should speak for who you are. And there's this thing that we said, may your character precede your presence. That means when they hear that Jacqueline Dixon is coming, or they hear that Harmonia is coming, or Janet Levy is coming, may your character precede your presence. That's how big and your character needs to be, so that it stands for something. And that's probably one of the biggest things. And then the other thing my dad always wanted to make sure that all of his children did was that you never get into, make sure that whatever profession that you are in, you become the specialist in that profession. You become the go-to person so that you can't be compared to others. And I always kept that as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, we now have on the line with us, I was just told, Ekna, we're going to start with you first, okay, because we didn't get you in. I was told that we have Dr. Edna on the line, who's a clinical psychologist, and she's my go-to mental health expert, and she's on the line with us now. Welcome to the Ordinary People, Dr.
Thank you, Jacqueline. Thank you, everyone. Just call me Edna. That's fine. Jacqueline is more or less a sister now. And I appreciate the invitation. And I've been listening to the contribution from the panelists, and so I will be able to add my own 2 cents to what you've been talking about. So last year, I also lost my sister.